Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Katelyn, and today we are continuing the 100 Dragon Challenge. So this one is a little special, so I have a small announcement for you guys. I have been wanting to jump on and help with the Team Trees movement that's currently happening, and I thought what better way to do that than to do a original art piece sale. So if one of you would like to help me raise money for Team Trees, I'm going to be selling the original drawing from today's video. So you can grab this tree dragon at my shop and 100% of the proceeds will go straight towards Team Trees. So if you want to check that out, go follow the link to KatelynMcCaigue.com/shop and grab it while it's there, because obviously there is only one copy available and I'm only selling the original. So with that, let's go ahead and jump in and start drawing this dragon. So I know I've been wanting to do a tree dragon for a while, and it has been a suggestion from you guys, but I really wanted to just do it to match up with this Team Trees thing. I thought it'd be super cool, and then I also love drawing like organic plant-like creatures. A throwback to one was I really enjoyed when I drew like the Forest Guardian Spirit, which was a monster mash in the earlier times, which I still think is one of my favorites, and I have a blast with that one. And it's also an excuse for me to practice drawing plants, not paints. Practice drawing plants and coloring plants. I really do enjoy drawing them now, but for a long time I wasn't as comfortable with drawing plants or scenery or anything like that. So this was a really good excuse to keep flexing that muscle and practicing plant drawing. So for this guy, I wanted him to look like a really big, interesting, old-looking forest guardian. So I thought it'd be really cool to have like multiple different twisting branches and things as it's like horns or antlers. I wanted it to have also the feel of like a deer or an elk, so I gave it kind of these cloven hoof claw things. It's a combination of that. And then I wanted it to have a lot of different types of shrubbery and like plant flora life. So I put some like moss and different bits of bark and wood coming out from all over, and I just wanted this whole thing to be like this majestic tree dragon creature. And I also wanted to have a lot of different textures. So while I started this rough sketch, I was trying to plan out how I wanted to convey the different tree textures. So I knew that I had the like more branches and such that would be with the antlers, but I also wanted to have tree bark, and like I drew earlier, I had moss and some other textures added in with this. So I wanted to make sure that I kind of planned ahead of time on how I wanted to incorporate all of these different textures. And then having all these different textures also left it open for me to experiment with how I would do them. And tree is just such a broad category, so I also incorporated like different types of trees. For example, I thought a mane would be really cool if it was made out of like weeping willow leaves, like those really long strands of like leaves. I thought would be really cool. And then I also was thinking of different types of trees. Like I think they're aspen trees. They're more of a white bark with these black, I guess you could call them eyes, but like different black patterning to it, and these round, I guess you can call it, I don't know what they're called in tree terms, but basically just a different textured eye area that maybe a branch was growing out of at some point. I'm really bad at describing this right now, but I really wanted to do a lot of different trees combined into one dragon. So I had to think about where did I want to put those textures, how did I want to color this, and kind of what I wanted to do with the overall look at the same time. I bet that totally made sense because, yeah, you guys know me, I am the best at doing voiceovers for these videos. But as you can see, I am starting to figure out how I want to texture it with the sketches. I didn't want to go too overboard because I was like, I'm gonna have to redo the line art for all this anyway, so I don't need to be crazy detailed. But I also really had fun like penciling it out and seeing it slowly come to fruition. And now it's time for the line art. So as always, I love this stage because you can really see it coming together, and I got to add a lot of cool textures and just patterning to this thing overall. And I have to say, you guys know me, I am obsessed with horns. Like, I think horns are like one of my favorite things to draw on creatures, and this has to be one of my favorite sets of horns I've done in a really long time. It was cool because it felt like very much like roots and branches at the same time, just all these twisting, turning, weaving bits of wood that all came together into these multi-horned, like, assembly. Yep, I can talk today. Multi-horn ensemble. That's what the word I was looking for was. But it just was really cool, and I really love how these horns turned out, and it just gives it this very godlike, ethereal, like, cool look. I'm doing great with articulating today, guys. I hope that you're enjoying my vast vocabulary while describing wood and trees, because I feel I'm really delivering. And then I really love texturing the weeping willow. I actually got this idea from my Inktober drawing, where I did the overgrown prompt was this tree nymph that just was frozen in time in a tree, and her hair was the long weeping willow leaves, and I just loved doing that during the Inktober thing. So I was like, you know what, we're gonna do this again with the dragon, and it's just so nice to just tune out and do this repetitive leaf pattern over and over and over again, just giving it so much texture and life, and I absolutely love it. So this guy did take a really long time for me, obviously because of all the line art. I had so much texture going on. We had so many different like color ideas that I was juggling. I can't remember exactly how long he took, but oh man, especially between the weeping willow vines and leaves, and then doing the texturing all along his body to look like different chunks of bark. It was a pretty big undertaking. But God, it really paid off, especially with the liner. Like right here, I think he just looks super amazing. Just like that really crisp, clean, and super detailed line art. So now it's time to jump in and get some colors. So obviously we're gonna be going with some different browns and greens since he is a tree dragon. But I wanted to kind of have a broader variety of color with him. Like I didn't want just like one type of brown for the bark and like one green. I was like, we should have like a really cool variety. And the aspen trees I was talking to you guys about earlier, they have more of a whitish gray bark with the black eyes and different textures on it. So I was like, we can incorporate that throughout his body and then have like those highlights of the browns and the greens, and have a lot of color diversity, even though it was just a wood tree dragon. And I have to say, guys, like, I really love how these colors started out. Like, I love the dimension that I was able to get with his face and having those different shades of brown. And when I started, I was a little afraid that it was going to be just all one note. Like, that's kind of what I was afraid of with doing a tree dragon, just having it be too much of, like, browns and greens and that's it. Because I know trees come in such diverse colors and looks, and it's just, there's so much opportunity to make something look more, I guess, diverse in color and just look in general. Because I was just so afraid of falling into the habit of like, all right, this tree has brown bark and green leaves and that's it. So I wanted to make sure that it had a really interesting look to it. And I think adding more of the aspen whitey grays really helped change the color palette a bit, especially like helping break up the browns, because if this was all just one big solid brown, I feel it'd be a little bit more boring. And then I thought about it more later. I was like, man, I could have maybe even added some oranges and made it like a fall tree dragon, but I'm pretty happy with this one. He looks really awesome. I think he would be a really cool character to put in like a D&D game. I think I'll put him in like Creature Compendium number 2. I don't know what his stats or characteristics would be yet, but I think it would be really cool to like encounter him because his back is like covered in moss and grass. I think it'd be really cool if he was like a big sleeping hill and then you stumble upon him and have to either maybe make a deal with him, barter with him, or like have to fight him. It'd be interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think? Leave it down in the comments below. What characteristic or thing would this dragon have in a D&D game? But let's go ahead and look at last week's entries for the Gluttony Dragon. So first off, Quiet Deity, I love that yours is like this really interesting like frog-based dragon, and he's so fat, and I just love the coloring in the background you did for that one. And then Zane is Get. I'm sorry if I totally butchered your name. Your dragon is like so grotesque but cute at the same time. I love that it's just like snake necking the deer, and then right there at its chest cavity it's just like dumping out what it digested. I think that was so fun, because then that would like prove the point that it would just nonstop eat, because it would go down its throat and be like released almost immediately after the stomach digested it. I really loved it. And you guys had some really great entries, and if you guys would like to enter for the Forest Dragon, make sure that you post on Twitter or Instagram with the hashtag KM100Dragons, and I can't wait to see what you guys make for the Forest Tree Dragon, because there's a lot of options, I would have to say. You guys have so many different like trees and plant life that you could incorporate into it. I'm excited to see what you guys do. And again, if you guys would like to help me support the Team Trees movement, I have this original piece available on my website at KatelynMcCaigue.com/shop. I would super appreciate it if one of you guys would be willing to buy this cool dragon, and then I will donate 100% of the proceeds to the Team Trees movement. So thanks again, guys, so much for stopping by and checking out this video. And if you aren't already, you can go and hit that subscribe button. I have new videos every week. And yeah, I can't wait to see your guys' tree dragons, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to be trying really hard to get back on the YouTube posting schedule, but we'll see how it goes in the future. All right, anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.